Hey everybody, 大家好. My name is Trevor. I've been studying Chinese for about 4 months now, and today I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how to use Hack Chinese to learn your vocabulary. Let's go ahead and take a look. So, first things first, I really like Hack Chinese because it has everything all in one place. It has thousands of words, thousands of sentences. It has the spaced repetition software, so you commit those words to long-term memory. Now, my first tip right away is when you're doing your study sessions, study frequently, study often. It's much more beneficial to do multiple sessions every day throughout the day than it is to do one really long session all at once. So for me, I usually start with a 6-minute session. If I feel like going, I can do another one. But I do this multiple times every day to keep the words fresh in my mind. The other thing I can show you, when you're doing the actual study sessions, 6 minutes, usually I just do every day. There are some custom modes, like if I don't want to learn any new words on that day, I just want to catch up on my on the words that I already know and finish reviewing those. I can select these options, but normally I just do the default mode. Now, my second tip is about the word list on Hack Chinese. So everybody's going to use this word list right here for Excel Mandarin. You're going to cover these words in class. It's going to be awesome. But I recommend getting a bit curious with it and exploring some other word lists to see what you like. So I like using the HSK Classic lists because every word on this list, it has multiple example sentences. And the sentences reference other words that you're going to be learning. So you just see them over and over again. I also like to use... We have some graded reader lists here. Do Chinese, we do get access to this via Excel Mandarin, and Imagine Press I like as well. But I recommend just take a look and see what you like because they're adding new stuff all the time and there's a lot of options. I also like to use, you can make a personal list. So if I see a word on TV, if I see a word when I'm reading, or I can show you in the Google Drive for Excel Mandarin, they do have a class vocab sheet. So if we covered a new word in class, they put it in the class vocab. I can add those words to my list too. So make good use of this personal list. One thing I can show you regarding adding new words is how to efficiently add a word. So if I wanted to add this word, z, it means, self, one or oneself. But the thing about Chinese is that most words are going to be 2 characters. So what I would prefer to add is ziji, which has pretty much the same meaning with 2 characters. It has some example sentences. And I think, from my experience, I'm going to see this version more often to convey this meaning. So I want to make sure I'm adding the most efficient words to my word list. I also can check the HSK vocab list online, and I can see zijis right here on the HSK level 3. So that's my second tip, using word lists. But my third tip is on blocking words. Now the thing is, you don't need to do flashcards for every single word that comes up. I have over 600 words on my block list. And, in Chinese, you're going to see the same words over and over again for the majority of the words used. You don't need to do flashcards for those words if you're already familiar with them. So my rule of thumb is, if it's not serving me anymore to do flashcards, I add it to this list right here. There's also many words that are just slight variations of other words, but they have the same meaning. So I'll add those to the block list as well. This will make it a lot more efficient. You can just study what you need to study and not spend extra time on stuff you don't need to study. Now, my fourth tip is about during the actual study sessions. Let's take a quick look. So I disable the setting so it doesn't automatically play the audio when the word and sentence comes up. The reason I disabled this audio is because I wanted to memorize the characters themselves and get better at reading the characters. So I could make it play the audio if I wanted to, but this is my fourth tip. If you want to learn the characters a bit more, when you want to start learning to read, I would recommend disabling the autoplay of the audio so you can look at the characters on their own and read the sentence on its own and try to get the meaning that way. Let's see. All right. So my fifth and my final tip is study frequently and study consistently. The thing is that the spaced repetition software does work. It commits it to long-term memory. But what doesn't work is if you burn yourself out and you study too much, you add too many words, and you don't want to study anymore. And I went through this phase where I was adding every single word that I saw, I was adding it like crazy. I would just add. But I got pretty burned out. So I don't even add everything. I just trust that as long as I study every day, eventually I'll learn the majority of words that are used in common conversation. And I trust you too. You just gotta study consistently. Eventually you'll get there. But don't do too much. Don't burn yourself out. Just practice doing it consistently. So I think that's about everything. It's about five tips on how I like to use Hack Chinese. I hope it was helpful. You can give me a shout in Slack. You can give a shout to your teachers as well. So have a great rest of your day.